Hey there, guys. This is just going to be a real quick little lesson for you. And yeah, so we're just going to talk a bit about the excretory system. So this is basically the system that's involved in, well, what we notice the most is, going to the washroom to go number one. But anyways, so yeah, this is really interesting actually. I was looking up and researching this a little bit before we got into giving this lesson. And yeah, while it's going to be a short lesson, I'm sure it's going to be interesting. So this is really fun. So the system is actually so much more complicated than the basic overview I'm going to give you here. But it's still, I'll just give you the basics here. So what we see on screen is just the general outline. You have your kidneys, which we're going to get into more detail about. They clean your blood, help your body get rid of waste, and each kidney is about the size of your fist. And the waste liquid from your kidneys is called urine. And then they go into this urethers, and those are just basically tubes, and they go down, and it goes and sits in your bladder. And so when you feel like you got to go to the washroom, that's because your bladder is getting full. And then, yeah, everyone knows the urethra is just the final part of the system there. But yeah, we're going to focus primarily on kidneys today. So kidneys are really, really cool. So they actually do a lot more than just, well, first off, the main thing they do is they filter all your blood. So every time you eat something, you drink a glass of water, anything that comes into your system, your body gets a lot of different nutrients and different things coming in, and it all goes into your blood. Now your body has to figure out what exactly it needs, it doesn't need, doesn't have too much of something, is a bit of it waste, and also there is just generally waste produced, right? Just like whenever you do something, there is some stuff that's not used entirely, so that's all floating around in there. And the kidneys have to basically analyze your blood constantly. They're constantly sifting through your blood, and it's not like just like a filter. I was thinking when I was going to present this at first, I was thinking maybe to suggest that it was sort of like a filter that you'd have in your car, or maybe around like a air unit to keep dust out or to keep a few bad things out. But it is way more complicated than that. The way God has designed these things is so impressive that it's actually analyzing all the vitamins and stuff in this blood. And it's checking, okay, how much of this is in there? How much of that is in there? Okay, what do we need right now in the body? Okay, I think that we need a little bit of this vitamin. Okay, so we should keep that vitamin. We've got too much of this, so let's push that to waste. So it's constantly analyzing. And it filters about 180 liters of blood every 24 hours, which is really impressive. So that's a huge amount. And so it's managing all this, and it also manages your water. So when you have too much water in your system, then you have to go pee more. But if you have too little, then it holds some of that water back, and it says, okay, no, we need this water for the blood. And so if you haven't drank enough, then it doesn't release as much water, and so it holds that water back. So anyways, I know this is a really short lesson. There's also there's stuff written on the in the little outline for today. But yeah, I thought this is so cool. It's so interesting. And that's the main thing that we're talking about, just how the system works. And the kidneys really in this system are the center. That's where they're filtering, and they're doing a lot of smart stuff. And so every time we think about this and we see these epic things going on in our body, I have never, this is my first time ever teaching these about the body, and I am amazed. I'm blown away. And the true awesomeness of our like creator and his creation, and a bit of insanity to say that this all happened at random, right? That this is such a complex system, just so amazing how intricate this system is. And yeah, we humans are creators, right? I'm sitting in front of a microphone and in front of a computer here. These are created things that someone has created. I don't think that this microphone evolved, and I shouldn't think that my ear has evolved either. My ear can hear things and relay that information to my head, and my brain is analyzing it all. And then Our kidneys aren't just like a simple system. They're super complex, super interesting. So yeah, that's the main part there. Then afterwards, we just have to think about a little bit about what happens when our urine is released, and yeah, that depends in the wild. So if your toilet happens to be an outhouse or nature, so I for every summer of my growing up, we had a farm. Well, we called it a farm, and it was out further north. So my family already lives in Muskoka, which is a bit north. This was further north, and it didn't actually have power. So we lived out on this, 300-acre land, kind of in the bush, and that was our summer home. And we used an outhouse, so that would use natural sorts of ways to break down the waste material. So when we go to the washroom in the bush, right, or in the outhouse, there are microorganisms that are like eating up the waste that we don't use, something else will use. And so it's really cool. Now, this is also something cool. Microorganisms. I've been watching this channel, and it is just so cool. It talks about all these microorganisms. And when you see that first, when we look out at the world and we see these massive trees and mountains with sunsets on them, and moons and planets and stars, and we can be just so awestruck by the Lord's creation. I think that when we realize that every little square inch of this planet is not only crawling with things we can see, I can see squirrels and birds and everything flying around, and they're all amazing. The other day I was just watching some birds, and it's just amazing to see birds. But when you look under a microscope in a little bit of water on a leaf, you'll find all sorts of things in there. And there's this one thing, and I included a picture in the thing, so I really think you should go look. It's called a tardigrade, and they're pretty cute. So yeah, they're smaller than a piece of salt, but so you can't really you can't see them. But anyways, they're really really tiny, and they have all these little legs, and they walk around, and it's really cute. There's some videos on YouTube if you ever want to go and check them out. But yeah, so there's lots of things out there that we don't even see. So again, it's just a testament to the Creator and our Lord, and it's just a beautiful world, an amazing world. And to think that this is we've fallen. The world is not perfect. There's thorns and death, and the world is still just so amazing. Yeah, just mind-boggling. Okay, so on another note, though, if you live in a town or city, so Brianna grew up in Bracebridge here, and you guys, most of you live in Toronto or in London rather, and or in other towns. You probably used a sewage treatment system, and so the reason we do this is because if there's too many people in a small place, it just creates too much waste for microorganisms to deal with in a reasonable time. And you have to deal with the waste, because if the waste is just sitting there, it can make people sick, and so you have to deal with it. You can't just let it sit there. The Germans found this out the bad way when they were in their desert campaign against the British in World War II. So the British had done lots of military campaigns before, and they realized how to deal with their waste. The Germans hadn't done many military campaigns in the desert especially, and they didn't deal with their waste properly, and that actually led to a huge manpower problem, because a lot of people were getting sick because they weren't cleaning up the waste properly. So waste is a huge deal. You have to be able to deal with it, and that's great that our body deals with it, and that there's microorganisms. But when we combine in these massive cities, so today the cities are just huge. So there needs to be a system to deal with the waste. And so the way that we deal with it is there's a first stage, there's a primary treatment. So large chunks of waste come in and they are screened out. So dirt and sand, other big things that are in the water system, they get screened out. And then the remaining wastewater is pumped into another tank where it basically sits, and you just let the heavier stuff fall to the bottom, and that stuff is removed. And then finally it goes into a secondary treatment where here air is blown into the tank, and it creates a like a new sort of system. Or like cleans it up. So the bacteria, it's actually interesting. So we still use bacteria. So it helps bacteria break down that waste. And then the water is sent to a final settling tank, which lets other things out. And you clean it up, and then you put some chlorine in it, and it kills most of the bacteria or any other things, and you get fresh or clean water. I don't really like chlorine in my water, but that's just me. Anyways, guys, so that's the main lesson. I hope that didn't take too long. I didn't really get some pictures for the water treatment side of things. I know. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're as excited as I am to learn about the body. So we're going to do a little bit more science now. I've been kind of transitioning, so I had to kind of get everything ready for that. But I'm pretty excited. This is actually our last human body lesson. So we're now heading into conservation of energy, and it's going to be pretty exciting. I just also wanted to mention that, we're not going to be doing Stir Night, so there is a bit of a reason why I haven't been able to make as many cool, exciting videos. There's a bit of confusion there on what we're doing next. But we're going to look at some short stories this week instead. But stay tuned. Have fun. Hope you guys have a nice day. I hear that there might be thunderstorms or something coming up next week. It won't be as nice, but make sure that if you see some light outside and it's not raining, to just quickly go and get some fresh air. Okay, grade 5. This is Mr. B. Bye-bye.